Hello,
Mm.
everybody. Welcome to Ladies Power Lunch. Thank you so much for joining us, guys. I am super excited today. I cannot contain my excitement because joining us today is one of the women that I think of. I don't know. Let me see if I can put this in a way that you can understand. I'm very, very in tune with my energy now. And so sometimes when I meet somebody, I know right away that this is the real deal. This is a person that needs to be a part of my circle. And I'll never forget the day that I met Felicia. And I was like a fangirl. I was like, okay, I need you on my show and I need you to speak at my summit and you're amazing. It was so exciting for me. And so having her here today is such a treat for me. I'm really, really excited to introduce somebody that I hold in such great esteem to all of you. Felicia, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. Will you just share with our audience who you are and what it is that you do in this wonderful world?
Yeah, so Davia, right back at you, right? Just it's a mutual love fest, and so what do I do? So let me answer that question with the question. I want everyone listening right now. I want you to imagine that we're in this amazing place 3 years from now, wherever it is that you want to be, and we're in a conversation. We're leisurely having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, maybe a cold drink, and you're sharing with me about your life. You love your life. Now, you had a great life back in 2021, but man, 2024, it is off the chart. You love your every area of your life. Just come alive in the presence of that conversation. What's the conversation you would love to be having? I want you to consider four areas: your health, your relationships, your vocation, how you're sharing your gifts, your talents, your capabilities, and your freedom in your calendar and in your checkbook. Use this amazing faculty of your imagination. See those images, move around in it. That's what I help you do. Bring that from the realm of your imagination into the facts of your life, where several times a day you're living the kind of life and you hear yourself saying, "Oh my gosh, I love my life," because that is our highest contribution to the body of humanity.
I
So
love that.
that's what I'm up to in the world.
Hey, I think we could all use that. That sounds amazing. So, I mean, you help your clients to bring their visions into reality. And that's amazing. And so many of us, if we're not careful, we can get stuck in our patterns and keep repeating the same patterns over and over. So, what is it that you're able to do with your clients to kind of break those patterns, get them beyond those patterns that
Yeah,
they've already developed?
it's a great question, Davia. And one of the things that I do, so a couple of things. First of all, really understand the nuanced practical application of what many people call universal law. That people will often distill it down into a single law, the law of attraction, which is actually a secondary law. It's a misnomer. That is not actually the real law. The real law is the law of vibration. And so the first thing we do is really understand what are the cause of our results, that we have this indescribable power to create with the use of our imagination. We'll say our thinking, but I want to distill it down even more. Get even more granular and help people understand that it is the way that you use your imagination and use these images that you are constantly showing in your mind. Then understanding that, because here's the piece that a couple of mistakes that people make. First of all, people will say, "Well, I know that, I understand that." And people get it conceptually. But when it comes to the granular ongoing application, there's a breakdown. Because if we really understood this, then we would, number one, treat this so reverently, and we would put a tremendous amount of energy into learning how to listen deeply to what that vision is. Because people often mistake a good goal for a vision. And there's nothing wrong with a good goal, but it's not the thing that absolutely lights you up. You want something that excites you and terrifies you all at the same time, because it will demand that you reach down and access new levels of skills and capabilities and an awareness of a power moving through you. That is this life force energy. And so understanding what are the cause of our results, and then knowing how to really listen deeply to the most reverent, powerful questions that we can ask, which is, what would I love? And not water down what you think you can have. One of the reasons why people get stuck is not because of limited thinking. I mean, that definitely can get in the way. But one of the main reasons why people get stuck, especially in the beginning, is because they've not really let themselves develop a dream that they have a burning desire for. You're not going to go for something that you're lukewarm over. Just our dream is a disruptor. It demands that we interrupt our current pattern, right? You're talking about, we have these habits, we have these patterns. Our dream disrupts that. We do not willingly sign up for disruption in our life. We only do it if we have something that we are absolutely on fire with. So, one of the things that I help people do is discover, what is that thing that brings them most alive? What is that life force energy seeking to express through them and by means of them, in order to fan a burning desire to step into that dream process, that dream journey. And then there's a whole bunch of stuff that comes after that. But those are those first two key steps: understanding what are the cause of our results, and really giving yourself permission to have a burning desire.
Permission to have a burning desire. So, here's the thing. I mean, how many of us have had a burning desire, and then maybe because we're stuck in our patterns, we've been a little disappointed in the pictures that show up. So
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people, getting beyond that is so tricky. It's
Yeah,
such a
Davia,
problem.
I'm gonna challenge you. I'm gonna
Hmm.
challenge you there, because the part of you that maybe, and for everybody, right? So, oh, I have a burning desire, and gloss over that. What I have discovered after doing this for years and working, doing this sort of thing, speaking to thousands and working with hundreds of people directly, it's crazy how people start backing away and watering down what they say they really want. That they may have a moment or a flash of inspiration. Oh my God, I would really want that. But then that watering it down, that chipping away of saying, well, maybe this will work. Or and so there's a process of maintaining that burning desire in order to stay focused and stay in motion toward it. And there's a real art and science to giving yourself permission to really want something. Because here's the thing that I find with women in particular, and I was guilty of it. There's so much stuff that interferes with that. Who am I leaving behind? I should just be grateful for what I have.
I think
um,
that's a big one. I should just be grateful
yeah.
for what I have.
Yeah. And I'm being selfish. Other people around me are going to suffer if I really go for what it is that I want. And all of that stuff starts chipping away that required burning desire in order to be able to move forward. And so it is, and that's the mistake that people make. That piece is so critical, so glossed over and misunderstood.
I would say too that some of the people that I come across, they have difficulty with appreciating that they are deserving just for existing.
Yes, that's it, right? And one of the things that I help people understand, because they think they have this desire, right? It's like, oh, I have this desire, and it's like, then it becomes like a prayer. I'm really, I'm intending, I'm visualizing, I'm hoping, and it's backwards. It's like it becomes a prayer to the universe, right? And what I want people to understand is that that is not your prayer to the universe. That is not you trying to make it happen. That's the universe's prayer to you. That's the universe's desiring to express more expansively through you and
Through
by means of
you.
you.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
it's the way that life wakes you up to more of who you are created to be. And it's a really scary thing to really have a dream. It's a remarkably vulnerable thing to give yourself permission to have a dream. Now, back to your question, what do you do when it feels like that your momentum's slowing down? That, building that burning desire, having a crystal clear picture and building a belief greater in the picture. Another mistake that I often watch people make is that I just need to believe in myself. I just need to believe in myself. Yes, that is a piece of it. But what you're believing more in are these laws
Hmm.
that when you develop an understanding of the power that we have and that we really are constantly in this conversation with this invisible field of energy around us, and that we are the organizing pattern according to what we predominantly think and feel or how we see ourselves, and that we build an understanding and a foundation on that law, then we become willing to work with this in a much more precise, concise, effective manner and understand the rigor that's required for us to hold those images before a single thing in our world changes. But when you build a believing and understanding that we really do have this power, then you become more committed to having that vision and working with that vision. And then the other thing is start identifying, being the woman who's doing it. We will never go beyond the way we see ourselves. Our identity dictates everything.
Hmm.
And so your dream then begins to inform who is it that you need to grow into? What is it that you need to come to know about yourself, to own? That's another thing. It's like, ugh, I just wrap my arms around people, women. It's like, own the ground you're standing on, own your place, own your dream, own what's coming to you, and own who you know yourself to be as you grow into the woman who now gives yourself permission to have this much good. So I could go on all day. This
And
is
I
the
could
stuff that
listen
wears
all
me out.
day because this is just wonderful stuff. So I would ask you, for our audience members who are listening, and I want to say hi to everybody who's joined us over on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. Want to also say hi to the ladies who've joined us over here on Zoom. Thank you so much for being a part of our day today. For the ladies who are listening, for you to be successful, what are the do's? What are the things that we definitely have to stay focused on?
Yeah, beautiful question. Continue to deepen your understanding of how our results are created. That it's not what's going on in the outer world, it's what's going on in here. Give yourself permission to listen deeply to the answer to that question, what would I love? And begin to work with a very clear vision that you are now running those movies in the movie screen of your mind. This is not just about making a vision board and looking at your vision board on the way out the door.
Talk a
It's
little bit
under
more about the vision board, Felicia, because let's face it, I'm pretty sure the people who are in this group, they're vision board kind of
everybody's got a
people.
vision board.
So talk
Bingo.
about
Yes.
vision board because I talk about this a lot and nobody is listening to me when I say that's not enough. Say some more about this.
Yes. So I love that, Davia. We are absolutely speaking the same language. So people mistakenly think that a vision board is enough. Here's the thing, you are always running images in your mind. We cannot turn that capacity off, which means you are always having a conversation with this invisible field of energy, right? And so what happens is people look at their vision board while they're in their office or on their way out the door, and you dream. It's like you get excited, but then you walk out as the same woman who created your current results, and you are now running the movie in the movie screen of your mind that fits your current life. In order for you to transform, you have to be in your vision when you're making your lunch, when you're brushing your teeth, when you're listening to the amazing Dr. Davia Shepherd. Always asking, what are the images that I'm showing in my mind? And more and equally as important, who am I being? You're either being the woman who created your current results, which, by the way, are really good. everybody listening, you have an amazing life, and life's not done with you yet. There's so much more that life is seeking to express through you. So the key to success is being the vision as you're moving through your routine now. Because what happens is you literally train yourself to think differently. Now you're able to hear ideas and see opportunities that have been there all along. We just don't have access to them from thinking from the same level of identity and possibility that created a current result. The other reason why it is so important to be in that energy of the woman who created your dream before your world gives you permission to identify as the woman who created your dream before your world gives you the seal of approval on it, is that you now start training yourself to accommodate a greater degree of good. You have a habit for how much success you allow yourself to experience. You are literally, and you know this, Davia, you are literally physiologically wired. You have a physiological recognition for how much abundance you have in your life right now. Your dream, this universal intelligence, is asking you to grow your ability to capacitate more good. The more you're able to be in the beingness of your dream, the more you are literally training yourself to make welcome and to maintain this new level of good in your life. Did I answer your question?
Oh,
Yes, because we're talking about
absolutely.
vision boards.
Yes, absolutely. And I really love the idea of being the vision as you move through your life now,
Yeah.
actually embodying that energy. That's what I think makes all the difference. And that's what allows you to shift. And might I say, too, that you're absolutely right. We have sort of a capacity for the good that we're allowing in. And it's sort of the way I imagine it, it's like a balloon. So you kind of have to stretch yourself a little bit to let more in every single time. It's not the kind of balloon that's going to explode or anything like that.
It's this infinite balloon, right?
The infinite
Absolutely.
balloon.
Yeah, because we move in the world according to the way that we identify ourselves, right? That I know that, as my work has grown, I started out as a teacher, and in terms of income, making a very modest income, and I was so identified with that. My world was organized around that. And I had to literally learn how to be more wealthy. Not only did I have to learn how to deal with the financial element, but I had to learn how to organize my identity around it. It was interesting that couple of houses that we moved into were way beyond anything that I've ever known for myself before, right? And in the beginning, I used to feel embarrassed to bring somebody over to a really, because we grew up below the poverty line, so to bring somebody over to a really nice house. I remember it's like I realized I was embarrassed. What are they're gonna think I'm too big for my britches, or who do I think I am? It's like, wow, I have to work with being able to identify with the woman who's created a work that helps people transform their lives and has created a degree of financial freedom to allow myself to pick the kind of houses I want to live in and to give highly to organizations that absolutely light me up, and to not apologize for it. It was the craziest thing when I realized that, wow, I am so identified with being financially struggling servant in a noble profession that doesn't earn any money.
Mhm.
So we have to work with changing the way we identify ourselves.
We have to
That
change it.
stuff is insidious. That's
It is.
insidious.
It is. It is because you're talking, and I'm thinking of myself quite a few years ago when I graduated, and so now I could go from driving my Honda to driving a Mercedes, right?
Yes, I
And
have a Mercedes.
And I distinctly remember it was hard to make that. And you'd think, oh, I would just walk into that dealership and there was a little hesitation there. So I get what you're talking about. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and especially when you're growing a business, right? That you have a certain identification around what kind of business owner that you are, and you have to be able to see yourself doing those next level potentially difficult kinds of things, like like you were talking about, when we first started, turning over control, learning, knowing that you have the ability to attract a good supportive team around you. Allowing yourself to be supported is one of the most vulnerable things that you can do. When you were, this is my growing edge too, Davia, is letting go of control. It's
Hmm.
there's an identity that goes with that. There's a consent for more good, for receiving, and so our dream the beautiful thing about our dream, what I love about it, is that it's not something that we check off, like check, 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 achieve this, accomplish this, I can move on. It's the mechanism that the universe uses to help us lean into those growing edges and discover more about ourselves and discover more of what life is seeking to express through us. And so something as simple as allowing ourselves to receive more, to
Yes.
receive support. Your dream demands that you learn how to receive support.
So
And
you
that's a
realize you just coached me right there, right? I'm just going to accept the coaching because, yes, it is true. She is a little bit of a control freak, and letting go is
I'm with
sometimes
you.
a little bit of a problem. I totally get that. We could have this conversation all day long, and I'm looking forward to the day when we do. But
Me too.
I would like for you to, because I know you have so much experience with working with all sorts of different clients and working on summits and seminars and workshops. Tell us a story that comes to the top of your head about somebody who really overcame something that we all should be trying to avoid. What should we be trying to avoid when we're thinking about creating the life that we love?
Yeah, it's a great question. So there's somebody in particular. I mean, lots of people, right?
Sure.
But there's a woman by the name of Kelly who, um, highly successful in her field. Right, she had reached the top of her field, very well respected. She was working a job, and it's one of those kinds of situations where she literally had to check her soul at the door when she walked into her job, and longed for something different. The thing about it was that her husband wasn't working, and so they were dependent on her income and the benefits. That she
Hmm.
had two kids, and she was supplying health insurance for her kids. So when and she had some ideas about what she wanted to do, but here's the piece that I was talking about before, about giving yourself permission to have a burning desire. It was scary for her to even let herself have a desire, because if you really acknowledge your desire, it's like you have to act on it. It's torture to know what you want and really want it and not act on it, right? So I'm so grateful that she allowed herself to get help, and I'm grateful that I got to be the one to help her to start developing a burning desire, get super clear about what that was. And I don't remember what it was, but it was within a short amount of time, because we're continuing to work together, because she just keeps going forward, just keeps life just keeps getting better. But that not only, so she developed a work where she was working at home, and this was pre-COVID, there with her kids, and doing what she loved, and within a very short amount of time replaced her income, and then she has doubled and then tripled, where she's now building out this amazing work, and it's just so great to see how she lights up. And she went from high five figures to where she's now multiple six figures, just lit up like a Christmas tree. But here's the thing: whatever your dream is, it's the purpose. And the thing that I loved about watching with Kelly, I mean, I loved watching that now she plans monthly adventures with her family, which before she didn't have the courage or the resources to do that, that she's contributing to organizations that are deeply meaningful for her. She's
Mhm.
there with her kids during the day. And of course, we're still in the middle of COVID, but that she's got flexibility in her schedule, and that when she goes into her office, she lights up, loving what she's doing and loving the contribution that she's doing. But the thing that I love watching is how Kelly has really come into knowing how much she matters, how much her dream matters, and the reverberation of that awareness on the people around her. When you
Mhm.
really know you matter, it's breathtaking the depth of presence that you now bring to the people around you. It is not a selfish move. It is one of the most selfless moves because now you are truly able to be present and bring your best to the people around you. And it's been breathtaking to watch Kelly do this.
This is such an awesome conversation. I invite you to, pop into the Ladies Power Lunch Facebook group and just engage with the women there and
Absolutely.
really have some conversation because I'd love for us to keep this conversation going. So, unfortunately, we're right up on time, but is there any way that our listeners and viewers can stay in touch with you even after we're done today?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I have a free gift that I explain, the whole process. And so definitely sign up for that. FeliciaSearcy.com/gift. Of course, my website, FeliciaSearcy.com. And then I have a Facebook group, Ultimate Life Now, where we do monthly masterminds. We get on Zoom, and my gift, the only thing I ask is that you make a charitable contribution to something. And we just pour in. The community pours into you. I pour into you. Just bring whatever it is that you're working on, bumping up against. And we just hang out for an hour, really digging in and applying these principles to help you move forward.
This is so generous of you, and I am so appreciative that you took time to come chat with us today.
My joy.
Really, really excited to have you here and looking forward to perhaps having you on one of our summits sometime in the future. That would
I would
be
love that.
just a wonderful, wonderful thing. So, everybody, thanks so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody who joined us over on Facebook, and I will see you guys on the next show. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye. God bless.